here we go. Back on Jedi Apprentice Book 11, The Deadly Hunter, another Jude Watson classic. In this book, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are back on Coruscant. They're about to go to the temple, but Qui-Gon wants to see an old friend who has a sort of diner similar to a certain someone from Attack of the Clones, although it's a different character. We'll get to that when we get to Jedi Quest and explain that. Well, said friend has a death mark on his head, and a bounty hunter's after him. Bounty hunter who's sort of a shapeshifter, and he carries a laser whip, and is very formidable. So, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are on a quest to protect Qui-Gon's friend's family. It's pretty crazy. I honestly really like this one. This is our first appearance of Jenna Zan Arbor, who is a scientist that isn't all that she seems. She has a lot of connections, specifically with the senator. There's a lot of espionage, like data stolen in this. People get murdered. Well, a person gets murdered. Possibly more. I won't spoil. But this one's dark. This is the first time we really see, aside from Tal, Qui-Gon have a friendship. And Obi-Wan isn't sure about this friend. He thinks he's kind of a dirtbag, because he kind of is. He's a dirtbag with a heart of gold. But in this, you see Obi-Wan doesn't want to make Qui-Gon upset. He's always looking for Qui-Gon's approval. And this is something that's really starting to come up in these books. It was happening in the last book, and I didn't mention it, but now it's pretty apparent. Obi-Wan does things for Qui-Gon. And when we get to Jedi Quest, that dynamic between Obi-Wan and Anakin is not there. And that's something that we'll get to, like I said, with Jedi Quest and talk about it then. But Obi-Wan cares a lot about Qui-Gon. He's failed Qui-Gon in the past, and he doesn't want to fail him again. And Qui-Gon's trying to teach him that, hey, it's okay to have your own opinion. You don't have to try to mitigate your opinion because you think it will anger me. And that's an interesting thing in this, but at the same time, Qui-Gon is trying to teach Obi-Wan to be mindful of the living force. And that's one of Qui-Gon's big things in just anything he's in, is he's all about the living force. There's the unifying force and the living force. And Qui-Gon sees the good in just about everyone. And Obi-Wan has a hard time seeing this. I mean, we see this in Phantom Menace with both Jar Jar Binks and Anakin Skywalker. Obi-Wan is very hesitant with both of them. But Qui-Gon sees the good in them. And sees the potential in Anakin. And we are seeing more so this than we do in Phantom Menace, which makes sense because Obi-Wan's still a child. Whereas in Phantom Menace, he's an adult. Or close to an adult. I can't remember the timeline there. But anyway. This book is crazy. The less I say about it, the better. This is one of those ones where you have to just read it. It's a page turner. A lot like with The Captive Temple. In fact, this almost topped The Captive Temple as my favorite Jedi Apprentice book on reread. Probably number 2. It's well worth your time, but unfortunately it has one of those covers where that doesn't happen. The bounty hunter is not on a swoop fighting Obi-Wan. That doesn't happen really in this. The bounty hunter does some crazy things though. And the ending's going to shock you. So anyway, what do I give this one? Solid 5 out of 5. Like I said, there's a few of these that are like above a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. They're just like gold tier. They're well worth your time to read. But let's see, if I put Cap Temple at number 1, and I put this right below it. So, anyway, have a good one.